You're listening to The Collected Podcast, bringing you inspiration and resources to help you discover and live from your truest self. Follow along on social media at Collected Workshops, and be sure to visit thecollectedpodcast.com for show notes and to learn more. The Collected Podcast is brought to you by the Gebhardt Schleep Group at Baird Financial, delivering personalized financial advice that helps clients reach their long-term goals. Visit gebhardtschleepgroup.com or see our show notes for links and to learn more.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10 of the Collected Podcast. I'm Tia McNelly.
I'm Michaela Hooper.
And I'm Jess Biondo. This week we have Meredith McDaniel talking about her new book, In Want and in Plenty.
And we adore Meredith. We know her because she's local to us. She's a counselor in the area. Her practice is called Milk and Honey, which will make more sense to you as you listen to this episode. She shares so much of the meat of her book and her own story and experience. And I know that you guys are going to love this interview.
Hey, Meredith, welcome to the show. To get started today, why don't you just give us a little introduction to your book and the heart behind it?
Sure. Thanks for having me. It's so good to be with all three of you. Well, my book is called In Want and Plenty, and it's waking up to God's provision in a land of longing. And, you know, I long and ache and yearn a lot in life, and I think some other people might too. And so when I sit with counseling clients or friends or even some family, I've started to see this pattern of people kind of unraveling under the pressure that they carry in their own story and also in the lives of people that they're really close to. So the book is really just starting to help people delve deeper into their story and to look at that in the light of the grander narrative, really that is the gospel. And so I do that through looking at Exodus and kind of paralleling our life with that of the Israelites and just how that really is foreshadowing for our whole life here on earth as we long for heaven.
Absolutely. That is where God has had me in the Word lately. So it was so on time.
Wow.
Your book launch was like the exact right thing at the right time for me.
I love hearing that. That's amazing.
As you were saying that, I'm very curious to know, as you were writing this book about these themes, did you see them surfacing in your life in very specific or new ways or kind of challenging ways as God's teaching you about it to share with other people? And what did that look like?
Oh, I love this question. So yes, I feel like the word provision is a word that God's really had to reclaim for me because it's something that I just think has a lot of negative connotations. You know, like if we're a really good person or a good Christian, then we're going to get what we, are asking for in our minds, what we think is best for us. And it was really crazy this fall, right in the middle and the thick of all of my edits. You know, they were due in probably November, December. About October, we found out we had mold in our crawl space in our house. And it was just one of those times where, one, worst timing ever, because I'm working on finishing up a book. But second, we work full-time with Young Life, with a high school ministry locally. And, we're on a full-time ministry salary and income, and I just work part-time with counseling. And so provision was exactly what I was already wrestling with. And then again, the Lord was going to say, okay, here's something else that you can learn to trust me with. And so really, and honestly, the provision from writing this book ended up being the provision for the remedy for our mold for our house.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, painfully and beautifully so. The message of this book is continuously being unfolded for me and for my family in big ways and in little ways every single day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as you kind of look back over your own story, what are the parallels that you see between the Israelites and your own story?
Sure. Well, it's crazy how they're such an entitled and grumbling, complaining people, right?
I want to shake them.
I know. And then I want to shake myself, right? I mean, I love your question because it's so easy. And I'll just speak for myself, but I have a feeling everyone in here can kind of relate that when we start to look at our life, we have all these plans that we think they're going to unfold a certain way, and then they just end up, things pop up. I talk a lot in the book about different losses and some grief that I've kind of walked through in life. anywhere from, diagnoses with friends all the way to marriages that are kind of falling apart and just other family issues and the whole gamut, like everything in between, pretty much every hot topic. And so I've just really seen God's hand as I look back, but also look at my life right now and then look ahead into the future of how he is, just how he did with the Israelites in Exodus, meeting me and meeting the people that I'm close to in our story continuously over and over, and providing exactly what we need every single day, and really through the form of manna, which is kind of this metaphor that I unpack. So
yeah. Talk more about manna.
So I love when my kids come out, and there's like dew covered all over the ground, and they all have these different, reactions based on their personalities. Like, oh, there it is. And like one of them's already got some like in his mouth, like, oh, that's amazing. I want to try what this stuff is on the grass. So I imagine that it was like that for the Israelites when they were kind of coming out of their tents in the desert and they were, longing for the promised land. They weren't there yet. They had a long way to go. And all of a sudden there's this substance that actually translates to mean, what is it? So they're asking that question like, God, what is this? And we do that in our own lives too. But he gave it to them every single day, just enough for every single day. And then they start grumbling. They want quail. They don't just want manna. They want more than that. And we do that in our own life too. So I kind of unpack that metaphor throughout the entire book.
Yeah. And you kind of have this idea of manna moments. So you kind of are calling people to recognize manna moments in their own lives. So my question for you is, what, like today, this week, or this past weekend was a manna moment for you?
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of traveling lately. And so this past week specifically, we got to go to the beach. A really generous family let us go and stay at their beach house. And it was just exactly what I needed, just to look my kids in the eye, to be with my husband, to be with some of our friends from Young Life, and just really be with him. I think, we're always craving all of these different things in the world. But what we're really actually yearning for is him and his presence with us.
Word.
And it's always there, We have to unearth it and find it sometimes in the midst of our circumstances, but he's always there.
That's so true.
I think it's so cool that you talk about your kids and their different responses to the dew and how we can learn so much from one another and just how we respond to God's presence in our lives. And sometimes I think it's difficult because we can get so fixated on our narrative that we miss what God wants to speak through somebody else's narrative. But even you talking about your kids, I'm like, wow, like how sweet that the Lord, like he graces us and, throughout the day with just little things like that to remind us like how beautiful somebody else's narrative is.
Yeah. And I think, that's when we get stuck and paralyzed in our story, is when we can only see what's right in front of us.
For sure.
Right? And we start to look up, and my pastor says this a lot at our church, like if we can just look up and look around and see other people's stories. I mean, I love, when people say that, I forget the quote, but, that everybody's carrying something and everybody has a story, basically. When we start to really see that and ask God for a lens to see into people's other narratives, it really does give us a new, fresh perspective, not only about our own life and what we're struggling with, but how we can love and serve other people too.
Yeah. I bet you run into that a lot in your counseling practice.
I do.
Yeah.
I hear stories all day long, and it's such a gift to get that front row seat. It can also be, heartbreaking, and it's something that I kind of have to hand back to the Lord as soon as people walk back out of my office, just to say, like, this is not for me to carry. This is for, God, you keep doing your work as people walk out of here. But yeah, I hear a lot of stories, the whole spectrum of what's going on in people's lives. So
yeah, and especially just that idea of getting paralyzed by your own story. So was that sort of an issue that triggered you to write this book?
Yes. So about 7 years ago, all my kids were really, really little, and I just started my counseling practice. And again, we were still in Young Life staff and kind of just barely making it every month, financially. And then we threw in some hormones in the mix of all of that that were really imbalanced and not where I wanted them to be. So I really started experiencing some postpartum anxiety, which I think gets overlooked a lot in our culture. We just think moms are just overwhelmed and they'll just get through it, and people suffer in silence. when in reality, that's the time we need to lean into our community the most and just say, I feel overwhelmed. I feel anxious. I feel depressed. I love my kids. I love my family. I love the people around me, but I'm not myself right now.
Yeah.
And so that was the seed of this book, being able to verbalize that to other people and lean into my community in a new and fresh way.
So powerful. Super powerful just to be upfront with that and to be transparent about our own process and our own struggle. I know a lot of new moms feel like they're living in this little bubble. I was actually just talking last night during the Super Bowl. We're recording this right after the Super Bowl, but that bubble of new motherhood,
right,
and feeling so alone. No matter how many play dates you have, no matter how many other moms you're talking to, it can be just such a really lonely time. And so to have someone call that out and say, guess what, this is actually pretty normal and it happens to a lot of people.
It does.
Is empowering for women to reach out for help. So thank you for being open about that. That's huge.
And it might not even be just mothering, right? Like you could fill in the blank for whatever kind of pain you're carrying behind the closed doors. We don't need to broadcast it to the whole world necessarily, but God does use our story, right, to impact other people. And so whatever pain or grief or loss people are carrying, I think it's really important to find a few friends that you can kind of open up with and find healing with.
This week, we continue to be so thankful to be sponsored by David Gebhardt with the Gebhardt Schleep Group of Baird Financial. And they have been so faithful in not only sponsoring us and allowing us to be on the air, but helping give us advice, confidential advice about how to get our finances in order and what to be doing with our money. And it's helped, for me anyway, shift this idea that my money isn't just for me. It's about my legacy, or allowing, harnessing my money in a way that allows me to be open to what God may be calling me to.
Yes. So
that I can give him my yes and not always have to worry about the financial implications of that because I've prepared for it.
Yeah. I think a lot of us were probably brought up with different perspectives on money, but some of us maybe without a healthy view of money. And so that's what I really appreciate about Dave and his team, is that they are committed to helping us kind of craft our perspective on money and how we can use money as a tool for God's kingdom.
Yes. Yeah. Not looking at it separate from the work of the kingdom.
Yes.
Dave is a strong Christian and he weaves that into his business. And it's a creative outlet.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. So don't let fear hold you back, and contact Dave and let him know how he can assist you in growing your finances so that you're in a place where you can bless those around you and have freedom to say yes.
You know what's great about Dave too? As a Collected podcast listener, you can just call or email him and ask him a question with no obligation.
Yeah.
He's a resource available to you right now. He wants to hear from you. So please give him a call or email.
Check the show notes to find his info.
You mentioned in your book just about the Israelites finding their voice in desperation.
Yeah.
Even as you were in that place and you finding your voice, what did you discover about God and why it's so powerful for us to actually cry out? Why does that matter to him?
Well, it's interesting. I think that God started using not only scripture, but also music and books and just all different kind of art forms to reveal himself to me in lots of different mediums and different ways. So he was not only using other people's voice and his voice through them, right? But then it was meeting me in the midst of my struggle. And so that really sparked me wanting to write.
Yeah.
And I remember my husband really quickly one day saying, I think you're going to write a book one day, because I was already blogging or something, but I had never thought about a book really, honestly. And it was just such a cool picture of, God saying your voice matters even if you're struggling. I'm a counselor. I'm basically a pastor's wife, young life staff wife. And I should have it all together, right? As we all look at each other and laugh and roll our eyes. But I believed that. And then all of a sudden for me to be in a desperate place and to find my voice there over the past 10 years, it's really been a process of me realizing, okay, like I need to share this with other people. I can't just hide. Like that's my tendency, is to hide.
Right.
But God sometimes calls us out of hiding in order to be vocal and share in whatever way He's calling us to share.
Now you're a Hope Writer. When did you find Hope Writers?
Yeah, I was there from the very beginning.
Nice.
Yeah. It used to be called Hopeology, and there was like this. Were you around then?
But I knew about it, but I wasn't a member yet.
Yeah, and then they became more focused on writing. But there was a writer's barn down at Michaelin's, the Nesters, just near Charlotte, and I was part of that. And there was just a small group of us with Emily Freeman and Krista Wells. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her music. And yeah, that's where a lot of the seed of this book started.
That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's been really neat to watch the Hope Writer family kind of envelop you and lift you up and push you forward. That's been a really cool experience. If you don't know what Hope Writers is, you need to Google it right now.
Yes, you do.
Or reach out to me.
Go listen to our episode with Brian Dixon,
There you go.
who started Hope Writers.
That's right.
He did. And he talks a lot about starting with your people, which I feel like is, a lot of y'all's listeners are probably, we all have people in our life that we interact with every single day.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think we need to like go get on big stages or, do something big, when in reality, I mean, even now that I'm a published author, like what it looks like for me is like being with people in person every single day and having conversations and hearing about their story. So
yeah, you've got a little indie book tour going on. That's so fun.
I'm so excited. It starts this week in Davidson.
I love it. Yeah, you're going to be at Main Street Books in Davidson, right?
Yeah, I can't wait. I love
That's
that shop.
so perfect. That's so great. Actually,
good.
the day your book released, I went in and saw it on the shelf. It was fun.
Oh, they've been such great supporters. So it's been awesome.
So great. And I saw it at Barnes & Noble the other day. It's very fun to just see what the Lord has done through you.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's definitely a trust process, to see like where He wants things to go. And I think that's true for all of us. Whatever He's calling us into, He's going to take it where He wants to take it. And then we just kind of get to follow along.
Yeah.
When you said you never really set out to necessarily write a book, it's not something you thought you would do, but since you gave God that yes and have started sharing your story, what surprising doors have you seen Him open since you gave Him your yes?
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely think being able to meet lots of different people through podcasts and really these bookstores, I'm really excited about, because so many different kinds of people go in indie bookstores, and I just think that it's so fascinating to interact with people that are different than me, and have a different view in life, different background. So I think that's been one of the neatest parts of this whole journey, and then just really meeting a lot of new authors and musicians through the process too has been really such a gift to me, and really manna for me. I use that phrase a lot. Like, we get to be manna makers in the world, and I think that God made us to co-create with Him, and this is we get to do it all in our own way. There's room for all of us, and there's abundance in that. It's not, oh, she's doing this, and we compare ourselves. It's more, we all have something to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and talking about being co-creators, you are a big proponent of creative writing.
Yes.
So can you share with our listeners a little bit about your process in creative writing?
Sure. Well, it's funny. A lot of Christian writers these days are really wanting to do memoir. And we get really stuck again on our story and our stuff. And when I first started writing my book, that's what I did. I got lost in all my details, and it was just all about me, really, And very quickly, my editor said, hey, let's try to, get a little more creative with this, and let's do some narrative nonfiction. And I was like, what is that? Tell me more. And so it was one of my favorite things was sort of crafting together like multiple composite stories. So there's like a disclaimer at the beginning of my book that nobody's actually my client. There's like a blending of stories. But I loved writing those, like down to what people were wearing and what their eye color was and all of that. There's been some really great books along the way. Like, I love Adorning the Dark by Andrew Peterson that just came out. Of course, Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, and Annie Dillard's stuff about writing. I think whatever it's called, The Writing Life. So that's been really, their processes of writing and me figuring out like I'm not crazy as I'm trying to do this. I always said like my life was never going to accommodate me writing a book, and that was very true. I think one of the most surprising things about it all has been when I was actually writing the book. It felt like this kind of spiritual battle, and God really started showing me how he was going to just surprise me every day. So there were days where I would just start like, I don't know, like writing poetry or writing like random songs. And I'm not really a songwriter at all. Or I would want to get up and like move, and like hopefully nobody's watching out the windows or through the windows. And so it like compelled me to worship.
That's so cool.
Which was not something I was expecting. And I think that God was just continuously showing me like, I am doing this work through you. Like, this is not you doing it. So you're going to worship me as we do this. And we're going to do this together. And so it's a really beautiful partnership getting to do that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I just think it's so cool that the manna that God was like providing for you every day, like it actually produced manna for somebody else, whether it was for you, like manna from God giving you something, or you then being able to take what he gave you and it becoming manna for somebody else.
And that's that abundance, right?
Yeah, like it's so cool.
It's so good.
And surprising you with that. Like he's like, okay, well I'm gonna do this and you're gonna like dance. Or you're gonna right. Or
you're like, what's happening? I'm supposed to focus.
But I think like he's so good like that. And if we're open to like even getting outside of our box, the box that we create for ourselves and for others, we get to be surprised. And I think, it's a beautiful process if we're willing to walk it out, even in the midst of the challenge.
I think staying surrendered to that is a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I think some of us may have stifled those urges. Like, no, I'm going to focus. I'm not, getting up to dance right now feels like procrastination. And so kudos for pressing into that.
There was always a reward because that would happen. And then I would sit down and then a whole chapter would come out. And I was like, wow, I've been trying to do that for 2 weeks. Okay.
That's amazing.
I just needed to move, or I just needed to listen.
It's almost like a tithe of time in worship. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, if there's like one piece, the one bite of wisdom that you want to leave our listeners with, or something that you've been dying to share, because I know you've been doing the podcast rounds, that you haven't been able to share, whatever it is, the stage is wide open for you. What would you say?
Well, I have a heart for people that are, I have a heart for people that feel like they're not enough and feel like they've just had enough. And that was me, 7 years ago before I started writing this book. And so I think I would just say to them, like this world's never going to be enough for us. What we're craving and what we're longing for is bigger than us and bigger than what we can, kind of muster up, even, if that's, in the midst of anxiety or depression or whatever it is for you. The true life and peace is going to be found in our ultimate manna, that capital M manna, in the form of Jesus as a person and his spirit. And so, if you're struggling today, I would just say, like, look to him, whatever that looks like for you, in whatever form, and get out of that box.
That's good.
Don't stay in the box. Try to find some creative ways to connect with him and slow down.
That's good. Awesome. Man, thank you so much for coming and being with us in person. It's so nice to be able to look you in the eye and hear all these awesome words from you.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
It's a gift for me.
One thing that I love about Meredith, because there's a lot to love about her, but she is a well of goodness and wisdom and just the revelation that she's gotten from the Lord and from her life, from her kids. And then she puts it into practice. Like you can hear it. I know as you read her book, you'll see just how much time she takes to really apply the things that God's showing her.
Absolutely. So you guys have to follow her on Instagram.
Yeah.
It really is like food for your soul. She's an artist at heart. And I just love her creativity and her creative process. Such a sweet soul.
In there, when she was sharing about her struggles with postpartum depression, and we kind of got into that conversation, I kept thinking about a resource to local Charlotteans in the Charlotte area my friend Jamie Eastley has a program called Stronger 360, and it's Strong Her, H-E-R.
Yeah.
And it focuses all on helping women through pregnancy and postpartum. And if you're struggling with postpartum depression, it's just this great community to help women through that.
Yeah.
And so we'll link to that in the show notes and everything. You can find Jamie on Instagram, and she has the website. But it's just an amazing resource, and just to know you're not alone and there's help out there.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Jess. If you are a new mom and you're struggling with anxiety or depression or just that isolation that comes with a new baby, you are not alone. And if you need to be reminded, feel free to reach out to us. hello@collectedworkshops.com. We would be more than happy to just encourage you and be with you. Just be present, because we know that that's a tough thing to struggle through. But awesome resource, Jess.
Yeah. And Jamie's amazing. And if your babies are, much older now, maybe 12 to 19, and they are females,
Yes.
then we also have another resource for you.
Oh, yes, we
called
do.
Collected Camp.
Yes.
And we officially have our dates for this summer. Tia, what are those?
June 15th through the 19th.
So check it out. It's an amazing resource for young girls to help them be rooted in who they're created to be and start to discover who they're created to be. And I know if I had started that much younger and had a resource like this, I could have maybe saved myself some heartache in my 20s.
For sure.
So we just want to pour into young girls and show them God's love and help them be confident in who they are.
Yeah. Registration opens March 1st. But if you know you want your girl there's a price tag on a spot today. You can pay your $100 deposit with a simple email address and say, I want dibs on one of those spots, and complete your registration later. But you can absolutely go ahead and claim a space for your girl or girls, because space is limited, but we love it that way, because that means we get to pour in to each of these girls on an individual level. And the transformation that we see in these girls over the course of a week of being with them, some of them coming out of their shell, others taking social cues and understanding better how to interact with one another. We've had girls who have remained friends, who have come every year, and
Who have started businesses.
yes, yeah, exactly. If you guys listened to Andy Squire's episode in season 1, his daughter Elliot started a macrame business following Collected Camp last summer.
Yeah.
And it has been incredible to watch her. She sets up at some of the same shows as you, Jess.
Yeah, I see her around town at the pop-ups, and she's just crushing it. She inspires me.
That's amazing.
She's amazing.
And when is she, like 14?
Yeah.
15 maybe?
High school?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
But
awesome.
It's so cool. Anyhow, please check it out. collectedworkshops.com/camp is a great way to go ahead and get all the information.
And one final plug for ourselves. If you love our show and what we're doing and just want to support us financially, you can become a patron.
Visit patreon.com/thecollectedpodcast or collectedworkshops.com/donate if you just want to throw us a bone and support what we're doing. We so would appreciate it. So you guys have an awesome week. We love you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Collected Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. And if you like what you've heard, we'd love it if you would help spread the word. Check back here for weekly episodes dropping every Thursday. You can follow Collected on social media at Collected Workshops. The Collected Podcast is also on Patreon at patreon.com/thecollectedpodcast. That's Patreon. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month to gain access to bonus content, early bird ticket sales, exclusive contests, and more. You can also find Tia at Tia McDaniel Notes, Jess at Spreza Foundry, and Michaela at the Creative Space NC. Collected proudly supports and partners with Flourish Kenya, a nonprofit working to prevent and support unplanned adolescent pregnancy in rural Kenya. Learn more at flourishkenya.org. The Collected Podcast is brought to you by the Gebhardt Schleip Group at Baird Financial, delivering personalized financial advice that helps clients reach their long-term goals. Visit gebhardtschleipgroup.com or see our show notes for links and to learn more. The Collected Podcast is recorded and edited by Jacob Early. Music is by Asaf Alan.